Good day, everyone. I'm Raja Mitra on behalf of Digital CRM, and we are soon to start off on a session with Dr. Debashish Guha, who is one of the faculties for our program on disruptive technologies. The program is titled Harnessing Disruptive Technologies for that much needed competitive edge. And today in this session, we are going to be posing, some of the more common questions and queries that we have had about this program from a whole host of interested participants. And Debashish is going to be answering about the program and answering those questions. We are also live, so if you, in addition to the questions that we already have, from which we have taken the most common ones out for answering, if you have any further questions, please do post them using the Q&A app, and we'll try and see whether we can answer them in the time that we have. So the first question to you, Debashish, and one of the more common ones is that number of people know that these are very cutting edge technologies and new technologies which have come in and which are being adopted increasingly in the developed world, in North America, in Europe, and so on. But people, and many of them have wondered how applicable are these technologies typically in the Asian and the Indian context. So would you like to answer that?
Yes, there are really two parts to the answer. First part is that today all businesses exist not in a regional but and or even a national context, but in a global competition context, which means that even if you are operating in India and only to domestic customers, you are nevertheless exposed to global competition in the form of goods imports and service imports, and you cannot afford to believe that you are only competing for instance, if you are in the retail market today in India, you are exposed to competition in the form of online participants such as Amazon, which are global businesses, and therefore you must have technology that lets you compete at that level and compete against those players. In addition to that, the second part of the answer is that even in India, there are several businesses, such as these online retailers like Flipkart or taxi aggregators like Ola, who are in fact using these advanced technologies in a very aggressive way, and they have in fact prospered and flourished because of this technology adoption. In addition, India is competing with some Asian countries, especially China, which is a big user of advanced technology. They're slated to be the largest user of industrial robotics in the next 5 years. In addition, other Asian countries such as Indonesia, South Korea, Taiwan, and Thailand, as a Boston Consulting Group study recently showed, are very aggressive adopters of robotics technology, and therefore, especially in manufacturing. So there is no way that you can sit back and say that we are in India and we do not have to have the latest technology because we can get by with what we have. It is just not the case anymore, and we need to uh, go ahead and adopt the technologies that will let us compete in the global marketplace. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Devashish. I think that answers it fairly comprehensively. Let me take up one other concern. It's actually a concern and a worry which many people have voiced, and these include a lot of functional managers and senior managers who have had enough experience, but when they look at the course outline, they see subjects like, for example, artificial intelligence, deep learning, robotics, Internet of Things, cloud computing, virtual reality and augmented reality. And therefore, the concern expressed by some of these interested people are that, look, all this seems very technical, and I do not have a quantitative or even an IT or a scientific background. So if I do attend this program, would it make any sense to me? And how would you like to answer that one?
Well, we are not going to go into the technical details of these technologies in this program. The program is not about what goes on under the hood, so to say, of the actual techniques, the IT, and the mathematics of it. What we are going to focus on is how you can develop an understanding of what these technologies can do for you in a practical sense, how it can improve your bottom line, and how these technologies work, not in terms of, going into the details of the nitty-gritty of it, but an overall view of what these technologies can do for your businesses, how they operate in a sort of a large sense, and therefore what you need to know about them in order to utilize them in your organization. So if I can give an example, go on from that under the hood scenario. When you drive a car, you don't really need to know all the details about automotive engineering. You need to know how to operate the car. So what we're going to tell you is to how to operate these technologies, how to get the best out of it.
Thanks, Devashish.
Yeah.
I think that should be reassuring to many people who have been wondering whether this would at all make sense to them or be pertinent to them. Now, the other common query that we have had from a number of people, again, functional managers and senior managers, is that there's this perception that these kind of programs are most relevant outside of say CTOs and outside of people working in information systems or in the IT department. There's this conception that these programs are most relevant for maybe people in marketing or business development and sales or customer support. So, a lot of functional managers who are not in these functional areas, who may be in HR or in finance or in manufacturing and so on, have been wondering whether this program is relevant and pertinent for them. How would you like to respond to that?
While it is true that the fastest adoption and most of the stories about big data and other analytics techniques are about sales and marketing and customer development, it is nevertheless true that these are technologies that are applicable across the board in all functional areas, and in fact have been used by many different functional areas in many businesses. For instance, in HR has used it extensively in many companies for recruiting purposes, for training purposes. Augmented and virtual reality is used. One of its main uses is training, and not just for engineering training, but for other types of management training also. Finance has been a heavy user of analytics, not only in the usual areas of credit rating and things like that, but also in corporate finance, in legal compliance and spaces like that. Manufacturing, of course, is one of the principal uses of industrial robotics, but some of us may have heard this, that Amazon is using robots in a big way in their logistics, in their warehouses. And as we have all must probably have heard, Google's uh, driverless car is coming soon. And one of the spaces where driverless automotive technology is going to be used, and probably the one that is going to be the first big use of it, is long distance transportation, trucking. And then some of this may use advanced artificial intelligence techniques and may not be completely automated, but it may be a man-machine system. And these are all uses that are nothing to do with sales or marketing, but in other functional areas.
Thanks, Devashish.
Yes,
I
yes.
think that that should be, again, reassuring to people in functional areas outside of marketing or customer support who have been wondering whether how relevant and pertinent this would be to them. The other common question I'd like to take up is that, the people have gone through the course outline that has been made available to them, and people, it's this is really a query about, saying that, you have mentioned, we have mentioned a number of, for example, examples and use cases that we are going to be taking up for each of these domains. Now, people have been wondering whether, some of these, at least some of these use cases or examples would be pertinent to their functional area or domain. And how do you want to respond to that kind of query?
Well, we will be gathering information from you on, what functional areas participants are interested in, and we are now in the process of putting together specific use cases and case studies that relate to many different functional areas, so that they will all be relevant to your day-to-day practical needs. And so, yes, certainly we will try to make the material correspond specifically to not only to marketing and business development, but to all functional areas across the board.
Okay, thanks. Let me come to the possibly the most important question of the lot, and the one which, in fact, organizations and functional managers and their peers and even superiors have been posing, and which is the which can be framed as people saying, look, how, what would be the relevance of this program, and what do I take away from it as an organization? How do we benefit as an organization? And also people saying, what do I take away from it as a professional in a certain domain or in a certain function? And possibly you'd like to elaborate on this. I mean, I know we have covered this in some of the program documents and so on that are have been made available to interested participants. But nevertheless, I think this is important enough to be taken up and answered here.
Well, we have in fact tried to address this, but I will reiterate what we have already said, and that is that these disruptive technologies are, they are disruptive. And why are they disruptive? Because they foster innovation, they foster disruption of existing modes of behavior and existing modes of doing business. And that is what companies, especially their top management, need to know how these technologies are disrupting the usual modes of business, what kinds of innovation they are bringing in, and how to use these technologies to foster innovation in your organization, in your company, and what modes that you need to select right now in order to have this innovation in your organization so that you can compete. And let me make this very clear that it doesn't matter whether you are in India, whether you are in Asia, you are exposed to this competition across the board from global competitive forces. And if you do not incorporate these technologies into your organizations, foster these innovations that are taking place, then there may be it may be very soon that you are behind the curve and not able to compete at all, when not just North America and Europe, but China and other parts of Asia and innovative companies in India have gone ahead and prospered through the use of these technologies. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Debashish. I think that about completes all the some of the most common queries that we have. For potentially interested participants, I might again mention that the program details that we have on our site and carry many of these points already. We also have a fairly detailed document which covers the background for many of these disruptive technologies and their applicability for industries, as well as gives you a program overview, the key takeaways, and the course outline, and the profiles of the faculty, including uh, Debashish, who is one of the key faculties for this program. So thanks everyone for watching and taking the time off to do it, and we hope you join in and for our forthcoming program, which is in April, to be held in Bangalore, uh, and we hope that you really benefit and it from it, and it meets your expectations. Take care. Good day.
Good
Thank
day.
you,
Bye
Debash.
now.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye now.